Hello, dear listener, whoever you may be. I'm imagining to begin with that most of the people listening to this will be close friends or bitter enemies of mine, and maybe my mum. But whoever you are, thanks for listening. So, what am I doing? Well, this is an attempt at a podcast. Doing a podcast of my own is something that's kind of been stewing with me for a while. For the past few years, podcasts have kind of been the main way I consume things like comedy, movie and TV critique and discussion, self-help kind of topics, education on things like nutrition and exercise, meditation, all that kind of lovely stuff. Also, political podcasts, random bits of history, paranormal stories, weird scientific developments, and lots of other topics. Podcasts have become this weird staple in my life where if I'm not doing anything else, if I'm not around anybody else, I've generally always got one on in the background or in my headphones. And I know kind of starting my own one is a bit, it's cool to have a podcast these days. Loads of people have them. But I think that's probably for a good reason. Lots of people are kind of realizing that podcasts are this unfiltered and almost limitless medium, which is providing people with things that they can't really get on TV and radio or in books. And whether that's long form conversations with their favorite celebrities, or just, fellow people who are passionate about the same stuff they are, having long conversations and hearing things that they might not get to hear in their daily life or conversations with their friends because you're never kind of exposed to them. On TV and radio, the time that people have is really limited. And often kind of, with a point or agenda, a celebrity might be coming on to promote a movie and they're there just to talk about that movie for 10 minutes. But if there's an actor you like or a musician on a podcast, you might get them talking for 3 hours about their entire career, and they'll really get to open up, and, you'll hear things that you might not have got elsewhere. So yeah, people are using podcasts as this way to have long form conversation, and not all of them are really long form. Some of them are nice and short. But people are getting things from them they can't necessarily get anywhere else. And these days, to have a microphone that you can record into isn't an expensive thing. So it's very easy for people to have their own podcasts. So that's kind of, I think, why more and more people are doing them. And yeah, I'm trying not to just jump on a bandwagon. This is, podcasts are genuinely a big part of my life, and it's something that I've been trying to kick myself up the arse and do for a long while. I would kind of go as far as saying that some podcasts in recent years have completely shifted my outlook on life. My opinions on things I like, on the art I like and the art that I digest, and how I speak to people, how I see myself, all kinds of things really, for better or for worse. And there's just been something really powerful and therapeutic about them for me. So doing one of my own has kind of been on the cards for a while. And my intention is to speak with friends and colleagues, acquaintances, kind of anyone really about anything I find interesting. And for those of you who do know me, you'll know that in my own life, I do video production and photography for a living, or at least I try to. I'm also a keen DJ and self-taught music producer, kind of thing that's started out as a hobby has now become a more sort of serious part of my life. There's many things I'm passionate about. So you can kind of expect discussions ranging from filmmaking to music to comedy, gaming, football, ghost stories, my love of whiskey. I don't know, kind of whatever feels good to talk about at any given time. Nothing's really off limits. And I know that does sound a little bit directionless, and it probably is, but I consider myself to be a bit of a directionless person sometimes. I've got opinions on many different things, and I know there's plenty of people I can speak with who can kind of help assist me through life and assist me through these opinions. And one thing that I know is an issue I have throughout my life, I've been very opinionated on things, but sometimes I do really, really struggle to articulate the points I'm trying to make. And whether this is just through lack of education or confidence, I really have no idea. I'd say I'm a pretty confident person these days. I certainly wasn't when I was a lot younger, but I often feel like I've got a lot to say, and sometimes I do struggle to formulate the point that I'm trying to make, and that can either get twisted or misunderstood by people. And if I'm having a proper sit-down conversation with someone, I find some of the best things, some of the best kind of thoughts and feelings will often come out of that. Things start to make sense a little bit more, and people can offer perspective which I wouldn't otherwise get. And yeah, so hopefully those conversations could provide something that's entertaining for you or informative or something like that. But mainly I'm kind of just doing this for me. As I say, it's therapeutic, and it encourages you. It's certainly going to encourage me to kind of formulate my opinions better about, anything. And that's kind of it, really. There's a few people I've spoke to about this, and I have got some people lined up who are going to come into my home studio and have some conversations with me. So they're lined up for early episodes, and I'm hoping that now I'm doing these kind of first 2 or 3, and once they're out there, that it's going to spur me on to do more and give me a good platform to vent some feelings and kind of showcase my own and other people's talents and thoughts and opinions. Yeah, and just kind of generally try to make sense of this weird world that we live in. I hit 30 last year, and I'm kind of in a semi-transitional part of my life. I feel like I'm finally starting to grow up, which is a weird thing to sort of say. I've kind of taken a slightly different path from what I thought I was going to be on, but that's not a negative thing. It's a positive path, and I'm pleased with the way that everything's been working out for myself. I've just had some extra time on my hands, which basically means I've not been working loads. So I thought now's the time to properly start the podcast. So I hope you like it. Forgive me in these sort of early days. Some of it might come off a bit sort of nervous, and while I'm still kind of feeling my way around it, but hopefully that calms down and everything gets a bit more relaxed as time goes on. As I'm recording this, I don't actually have a name for it yet. The only name that I did come up with was Sporadically Speaking, which is it's hard to say. You kind of want something snappier, but Sporadically Speaking, I think the reason that worked for me was because I'm not sure how often I'm going to be doing these things. My intention is to do them regularly, which I know is the complete opposite of the word sporadically, but as I say, things sometimes don't work out as you intend them to. So I thought Sporadically Speaking would be good. It also kind of explains that the topics are going to be extremely sporadic and all over the place, and it's not just going to be we're always talking about food or coffee or this, that, the other. There's going to be lots of different topics. So that's it for now. I'm going to stop rambling by myself.